Welcome back. Today I thought we'd do a couple updates, so let's get started. Alright, so here we have a work in progress. This is for Frantic's Challenge. If you don't know what Frantic's Challenge is, you'll want to go ahead and head over to his channel and check out the community section, and you'll find out that he is doing a build challenge where we are all, I don't know who we all are, but several people are building an no, not an AW, an FW 189 A-1. I guess it's a recon fighter for the Germans during World War II. And so this is my version so far, work in progress. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in here. And I believe I did a time-lapse video, so if I did, I'm going to go ahead and show that to you first. Alright, so that was a time-lapse video to get to this point here. This is an earlier version that I kept just so you could see kind of like how things changed. So the initial version, we have several things that are different. The canopy is actually a little bit lower than the plane body. We have the engines and where the propellers are a bit lower in the cowling here. And I guess we have a thicker tail end. And I think that is about the big differences on this. So what I had to do is keep looking at pictures and get the different angles to see what it looks like. And the biggest problem we have is that this cowling is way too big for the plane. But unfortunately, in order to get the engine in and make room for gas and pipes and air and all that good stuff, it will have to be thick. Now to offset this, I could make this canopy larger and probably stretch out the wings, but I'm trying not to. So I'll probably leave the engine cowling, the nacelles, larger than they should be. And that should work just for having it, be relatively balanced out to the real scale plane. But again, we're doing blocks, so we have to compromise when it comes to this. And my compromise is just allowing the engines to be bigger or wider, thicker than they actually are. But what I could not allow, this canopy sits higher. And if you look at the side profile, it's sitting too low. So this actually sits a bit higher. And it also, I think I had to move it back. So let's go ahead and do the time lapse for changes. So then I got to this point here. Now the engines, so you can see I've moved things up a bit, introduced the cooling hole or whatever that is. I don't know what that is actually called, but where the intake is here, and added some handles on the real one. Also I had to didn't know this, but I had to move up the back part. There is a gun up here, so I had to move this whole canopy upwards, and then I started to move this down and then delete some of this portions here because this is actually an open like cone. And I also experimented with the little back part right there, and I think I thinned out the back, perhaps, not sure. But what you're gonna see now, the problem is if we look at it from the front, it looks not too bad, but again we have the canopy higher now, and we have this section here which sits a bit far back. Not quite right when I looked at more pictures of the plane. So then I changed some more things. So the latest version where I started off this video, you can see that I've done a few different things. I've changed the window blocks into the squares. If we look at the real picture of the plane, You can see it's kind of got these larger windows, but I use the little ones, of course, because that's what we have. So I'm not sure if I love this or not. Here's the inside view if you're looking out. It's not bad. And then I've started to clean up the engines, and I moved them in, I think, a block. And then I moved both engines and the tail booms out, I think, by 1 or 2 blocks, both to the right and to the left, which makes the canopy in the center look a bit smaller than it should be because of the large large engines. So I've done that. Of course, I've thrown on some wheels. You've seen those for a while, but they were just for placeholders. They'll probably change. And so this is where I'm at right now. Oh, also, I went ahead and deleted one window section to move the gun into a place where it could stay here. And then if we look at this, we have the canopy opening here, and then the canopy opening here and here to get inside of the airplane. Don't know how you get on top yet, but that's how you get inside. And then we have the tail wheel, and that is about it. So this is where I'm at right now. Of course, I sometimes get frustrated. I'll change things if I don't like how it looks after I start looking at reference photos. But this is kind of where it is right now, and I think it's looking pretty good, minus that this canopy is a lot smaller, and that bugs me. So I don't know if I will throw in the towel and change these engines into electric engines, and that would save me some room because I could really tighten up this space, I believe. Maybe not. I don't know about that, because if I were to do that, then who knows where you put the battery power. And then if we look at, like, what's a large motor look like? Oh, that's way too big. Maybe a medium. Okay, so the medium would fit, but it's not really going to save me too much room as far as width. So that's the biggest problem, is the width of the engines. So yeah, and of course you could get creative and put like the engine in the middle of the plane and like run pipes out and stuff like that. But then I don't know if it'd have enough power to get off the ground. Plus you'd hear the engine in the back of you, which would be odd. So like I said, I may just leave these the same size and then go ahead and adjust my canopy size, probably my wing span, and try to adjust it to balance it out. Or I may just leave it like this if I'm happy with it. Sometimes a paint job will make it look good enough to pass for the plane that it is, even though it's not quite right. But, you know, we are building with blocks. So that is where we are with this right now. So go ahead and head over to Frantic's if you haven't already done so, and subscribe to Frantic. Please do so. And join in the challenge. It's just for fun. There's no reward or prize. He'll just try to fly your planes, which is always fun to watch. And that's it. So, yep, this is my work in progress entry. All right, let's go look at one more thing. All right, so work continues on KITT, and I've done a few changes. Actually, it looks pretty lousy and pink, doesn't it? But what we've done is I've narrowed off the front end. It was a little bit pointier, but I've decided to go ahead and slice it off. And what we have here is a camera, so that if you're sitting in the booth controlling KITT, of course, you'll be able to see. Also, we've started to, and let me jump into the editor again. Let's go out here so we can see the day. And if we jump into the editor, what we can see is I've started to rethink how I'm going to do the logic. So we have a logic block here. Can you see this one? This logic block here, which still has the old data and stuff. But what I did is I started moving the logic into composites. So I really don't need the features of the event chip that I made, the eventer. I don't need that. All I need is a composite to fire off events, and that will work fine. So I've done that, and you know, we can look inside if we want. And you can see again, we've got composite from the car coming in, car seat, and then composite from the controller on the outside. And then it all comes through here, and then we have our pretty much our interface for the car's monitors. So that's how that's working. And then we have our XMIT, our transmitter, our fancy name for this. And what we're basically doing here is just bringing in the seat data to different things and passing it through and controlling KITT. So that's where we are right now with KITT. I kind of have a deadline to get him done before the end of September for reasons that I'm excited to try out if I can pull it off it'll be cool. If not,
It'll be one of those things I never get done. It's in the background hiding.
so for right now, we're going to go ahead and try a target date of the end of the month for this guy. So that is it for KITT. That is it for the plane. And I think that's it for the update. All right, well, that's it for today. If you haven't done so already, please hit the bell so it goes ding dong when I upload a new video. And if you haven't done so already, of course, please consider subscribing. And I'll see you next time.
Bye! Hello, KITT. How are you?